Buonasera. Hello, everybody. Ciao, ciao, amigos. Welcome to the Grand Prix de Emilia-Romagna, San Marino, e Imola. Welcome, everybody. Apologies for my awful accents. Well, yeah. Anyway, this is your Monday night fix of esports racing, and we are MRC, in case you didn't already know. Tonight, it is Monday night, of course, which means Tier 2 and Tier 1 action on track is going to be a feast for your eyes. We are in a country where feasting is a great thing. There's many amazing foods are present. That is, of course, the Italians, just on the north of the Mediterranean Sea. And speaking of the Mediterranean, I'm joined by a part Frenchman, part Portuguese, and part Englishman, known as Anton. Hello, Anthony.
Hello, benvenuti a tutti a Imola. Come stai?
Bueno amici, bueno. Grazie amici, grazie ragazzi.
Ma che fa la macchina? Come on.
My Italian's run out.
We've got no idea how to speak Italian, but yeah. Let's just enjoy this because we've got a wet session ahead of us.
Oh yes, it's soggy and, well, if this is real F1, they'd probably call this off because for whatever reason, the full wet tyre never gets used. It can't be used. It's awful.
I think this is going to be the equivalent to the bad guy in Harry Potter.
Voldemort?
Never say his name. Never say the name of this compound of tyres. Never use them.
Oopsie. Well, so we're going to have to use them today.
Yes.
So, as we've alluded to, we are in Italy. This is the track known as Imola. It has many names. It's been known in the past as the San Marino Grand Prix, the Imola Grand Prix, the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, held at the Made in Italy Grand Prix, held at the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari, of course named after Enzo and his son, tragically, who passed away, Dino, of the family Ferrari. They're slightly significant in the racing world, you might have heard of them. And this track hasn't changed massively over the years, but we'll glow through it shortly. Sociopath will be the first to post a lap time. Do you want to talk us through a lap, Anthony? Oh, he's got off at Ravazza 1 though. Oh.
Yeah, still sliding through Ravazza 2, so you could think he's got a dry setup, so maybe we're going to get a dry race. So anyway, there's this never-ending straight where he's going to try and find his braking spot for turn 1. It's a quick chicane here, triple chicane actually, before we go onto a short straight into Villeneuve, so another world champion. And this is a tricky exit here. It's a very tight corner. You don't usually want to be battling with anyone here. Into Tosa, famous corner for Hamilton moment in 2021, was it? And I can't remember the corner name that's coming here, but you've got to get your brake balance correct here because it's so easy to use the rear end here. Same going through Acqua Minerale as well. It's better on this game. I just couldn't get through this corner on F1 22 without spinning, so I'm glad with the new physics model here and Variante Alta, I believe here. You've got to get the curve, and Sociopath doesn't get to the curve here. He's lost a bit of time, I think. But penultimate straight before you get to both Ravazza, and it's one of the quickest sections, and just 90-degree corners up here, and it will be the end of the lap. He's just about got more control than preparing the lap, and you don't get through the chicane that used to be here, and he sets a 131.2, but which is beaten by Erevoice straight away.
Indeed. Thank you, Anthony. You got the corner names perfect. You missed a few, but the ones you named, you got spot on.
Lovely.
Now, you did allude to the final corner that used to be there, that is no longer the final chicane. I thought they personally should have kept that in. I felt it gave you one more overtaken zone, but nevertheless, that
true.
Tamburello, which the first three corners, again, that used to be one long corner.
Oh, yes.
That, unfortunately, was redesigned following the very unfortunate and sad passing of Ayrton Senna da Silva in 1994 in May. Unfortunately, whilst driving for Williams, he had a suspension failure, resulting in him hitting the concrete wall on the outside of the corner very, very aggressively, and unfortunately, they were his final moments on the earth, which was very sad. And on that same weekend, we lost Roland Ratzenberger as well, just at the Villeneuve chicane. Rubens Barrichello nearly passed as well, which hugely significant weekend. In 3 different sessions, we nearly lost 3 drivers, and we did lose 2. But we'll talk more about that later. I know that it's a subject very sorely close to many drivers' hearts. Unfortunately, we have also got a bit of a black flag to wave in MRC this week, as one of our nearest and dearest, Andrew Morns, also known as the Monster, he was due to do some commentary in Tier 1 tonight, and he was due to race in Tier 2 tonight. He's unfortunately had to step aside because he's had a significant event in his family this week, which, of course, he needs to have some time for himself. So, Mornley, on behalf of everyone at MRC, we love you, mate, and we're with you, and obviously fly high to your nearest and dearest. We are with you, my friends, and we hope you are okay. Back to the racing of course, and Red Car Rambo, a man who I know does not like this track, has currently got pole position with 29.9, the only man to breach the 130 barrier. Geke Matthews has collided with Ziad Amar, and unfortunately that has resulted in him getting a 5-place grid penalty. On a more positive note, would like to wish a very happy birthday to a man driving in Tier 2 tonight, it's the one and only Genie, and someone who's just popped into the YouTube chat who races in Tier 1, that is the one and only Calvin. The ID Calvin has popped up to say hello. So happy birthday to both the Genie and the Calvin, the Budgie Smuggler and the Man in the Lamp. You have a fantastic race to celebrate your birthdays.
How lucky are we not to know the lyrics to Happy Birthday in Italian?
Bon, I know it in French is Bon Anniversaire.
Yeah.
And I was going to say Feliz Navidad, but that's Spanish for Merry Christmas, not Happy Birthday. So
yes, it is.
I'm going to gloss over that. And let's look at... I was going to look at Fanny, but that means looking at Red Bull. No. Martin, no, it's too French. Sociopath has gone P1 with a 28.9. The track is clearly getting faster and faster. His teammate, Mr. Ajeric, is coming round with that's number 2. What can he do?
I don't know if the track is getting any faster. I think the drivers are just finding their marks a little bit because it is steady progress.
Indeed. Just looking at the issue chat, Martin, who is one of the drivers known as Single Tracks Red 5, nearly to Single Track 74, he says it's a dry race. So where you saw Sociopath on your lap of the track going wide, you said you might well have a dry setup. You probably are correct. If it's a dry race, you want to gamble on that setup, try and get through qualifying as best you can, and then make hay while the sun shines in the race.
I hope so for these drivers, especially for trying to go through turn 1.
Indeed. 17 of our 20 drivers are on track. Wumax, ZMR and Captain Nibs are all in the pit lane, and 18 of the 20 drivers have set laps, which shows we're nearly halfway into the session already. But ultimately, everyone on the track clearly wanting to get that confidence with the wet tyre, which is a horrible tyre as we know. Ooh, Lorpy goes a bit wide at Minerale.
We've got Brian as well, cutting Variante Alta.
Ooh. We'll let him have that. I was looking at Dumbest Hornet, he's just started a lap. He's currently down in P12. Sociopath just goes and sets a back-to-back fastest laps. That's just showing off. Dumbest Hornet is 2 tenths up in the first sector on himself. It's a respectable start to his flying lap in McLaren. You don't use too much ERS in the wet compared to in the dry. In the dry, it absolutely kills your ERS here. It's so hard to recharge. Purely because you don't have many heavy braking zones. We've got 2 cars off track. We've got a Red Bull and a Mercedes, both off track at opposite ends of the circuit. So clearly some people are finding it very difficult to get grip. And Thomas Hornet nearly loses it out of Aqua Minerale as he now heads down to the very anti-outer. A little tight chicane. Just keeps it on track. What do you think of this track then, Ant?
I think it's a lovely qualifying track. Oh, Connor.
Or has he been at Ravazza 2?
I was going to talk about Connor, so I didn't actually curse him. I was going to talk about him, but...
There he is on the exit.
You can't hold anything against me. Well, get Matthew now. What? I'm going to stop watching anyone because they're all sitting
You
there
are the
improvising.
curse. Let's look at Happy.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at David Hepworth, the Hep, Mr. Happy himself. He's in the Alfa
Yes.
Romeo. His teammate is currently P3. He's currently P18. His only lap he's got on the board is, I think, him just getting a sighter on track. And, yep, let's see how he does on this lap. He's got a shiny green chrome helmet. I like that.
I
Maybe
think
that's
it's
an
time to
Italian thing.
replicate the green that they had on their livery this weekend.
I did think it was a bit weird, that green that Alpha used at Spa. I thought it was a bit bizarre.
Well, Italian teams have this thing with green, just splashing weird green onto their car. Ferrari
Oh,
did it
Happy
in
to the
2021.
big moment. Yeah, they did with the Mission Winnow logos where they splashed it in green on the engine cover and the rear wing. It looked awful.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not even sure marketing-wise it worked. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not too sure about it, but yeah.
One team that
Definitely
does
didn't
like the
work.
green, though, other than the Italians, is the Aston Martins, and Gene Genie on his birthday has put the car into P2, although he's still 8/10 off of pole. Sociopath is the one that looks like he's nailed this down. Now, setup-wise, we both know there are different ways to go, but setup-wise, you can go low drag, you can go high drag. What's your personal take on a setup here? Would you rather the speed on the straight or the speed in the first and second sectors?
It's so hard because it's not like Baku where you must have like a very low downforce setup to be able to race. Here you can kind of the high downforce will help you with tire wear and help you through qualifying definitely for every part of the track which isn't the the start finish straight. I would go for a higher downforce setup. I think I have maybe 7 clicks extra downforce than you did on MRCX, so that
Yes.
kind of shows the difference between us.
I just
But
think it was
I
the tyres.
usually. Sorry?
I think it was the tyres, not the downforce. I think we were fairly even, personally.
No. The information you gave was much slower than what I was running, so.
Anyway,
I was just anyway, but
anyway.
yeah, as you say, there are many ways to go through this track, and I think that on this game, downforce is so good and so enjoyable. Going through the corners at full speed is just great on this game. So for this track, especially, yeah, it's like a bit of a time trial track. I would go for a higher downforce setup. Last year's game, not so much.
Interestingly, Martin, it looks like he might have a bit more drag than most. He's just popped into P2 with a 129.1. These settings, so these particular weather moments that we're seeing with wetness, will suit the higher drag setup. It will suit those who have a bit more ride height, bit more wing, and maybe a slightly softer suspension, not leaning on the tire too much. Although in the dry, all of those things will cost you and compromise. You want to have a bit more firmness from the front shocks. You want to have a bit lower ride height, and of course, the lower drag on the straight in particular will benefit you to no end. Oh, error voice at the moment, turn 3, and Mr. Hodgson, who's a little bit ill at the moment, he's hurt himself a little bit, says that he enjoys our talk about shiny helmets.
Oh.
Now, there's one helmet in this world I do not appreciate, and that's Helmet Marco. I'm just going to throw it out there. But I do like a driver in the Red Bull called Thomas Fanning. He's in P5 currently. He's somebody who does like the high downforce when it comes to the car setup. He's someone who thrives on tracks where you can run that higher wing and just throw it into corners and hang on in there. Although on this lap he does look a little bit out of sorts. I think it's just the Chris curse of us jumping on board with him. Let's have a look. Night Shadow. We've not mentioned Gav yet in this session. Now, he's going to be absolutely raging with anger about his lack of attention and time on track. So, hello Gav, you've been on track, you've been on the screen. You have a Verstappen helmet, so you're not getting any more screen time. Jackster's on an outlap in P8 at the moment.
He's doing too much with these ready-made liveries. now it's ready-made helmets as well. So.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I like to be a bit personal with the helmet, but that could also be taken in the wrong way too. So, Warren Allen in P9 in the Williams with a huge drift out of Rivatsa 2. He looks like his setup's a little bit on the twitchy side. Maybe he's gone for the low drag, for the flying speed down the start-finish straight. I'll have to wait and see. Captain Nibs, welcome back to the Nibmeister. He has rejoined the boys and girls of MRC recently, in the last week or so. Good to have you back, good sir. He's standing in the Alpha Tauri tonight. He's back after a period of time out. Unfortunately, he had tech issues. Mainly, the PlayStation that he was using died. Now, that is kind of significant if you are a gamer. So, obviously, he was not here. However, he's back, and he's drifting through Villeneuve. Let's stay on board with him as he comes into Tosa. Now, did you know about the two statues which are in the first sector of this track?
I know about the Ayrton Senna one because they go there every time.
Correct. Roland Ratzenberger has one facing the Tosa hairpin.
Really?
He does. There is a there's a memorial for him there as well. It's just, as much as Senna was and is the icon that people would love to refer to, and with good reason, Roland Ratzenberger does not get the... Nibs has really had a big moment, and he's collided with the wall at the very end, the outer. Yeah, Roland Ratzenberger doesn't really get the credit or the praise or the celebration of his life when they visit Imola. It's all about Senna, which, understandable as it is, it's a little bit sad. Now, let's just have a little download on the tyres quickly, because we've got some people notably here. Stube gambling on the intermediate. He's not the only one. Night Shadow and Sociopath are also gambling on the intermediate. Now, Stube's about to start his lap. This will be his last lap of the session because of how little time's left. Yep. Let's see if this gamble pays off, because if it does, this could well be pole position. Now, Lorpy P2 has just gone and put on the 28.8. This implies the track is getting faster, the times are dropping.
Yep.
But is it enough water to have dispersed for them to justify the intermediate? This is very touch and go. Only 3 drivers have gambled. So clearly it's not a clear-cut choice that the tyre is going to be better. First sector, and Stube's so slidey on the exit, he's got no traction. He is 3 tenths down on himself. It doesn't look promising for Morgan of Middlesbrough. Let's have a look at how Night Shadow's faring, and he's 4.5 seconds down, so let's move on quickly. Sociopath, he's miles off track, so it doesn't look like the intermediates are working in particular. Single track, currently in P3 in the Alpine. He's been going quite well lately, and yes, you're right, he is generally quite good in the rainy, wet stuff. Now, Martin of the Hills, I suspect he has got a slightly more grippy downforcey setup, not so slippery. He's just gone purple in the middle sector. He's gone 3 tenths up on his personal best time. This wouldn't be enough for pole position, but it would be enough for the front row.
Yeah, he's one of the more sensible drivers, I'd say, in the league.
I wouldn't say sensible. I wouldn't say sensible. I've seen him refer to his colon and his rectum in stewarding. Now, I can't say that sensible is the right word, but he does fly across the line. He does improve, but he doesn't quite beat Lorpy's time. He's just 400ths off of that time. Lorpy is on track and doesn't improve. We have only got a few more drivers still on track. Fanning is one of those drivers. He is 4 tenths up, but he's just invalidated. Night Shadow is, nowhere near on his lap time, unfortunately. And Happy, he's also not there on his lap time either. So I believe, ladies and gentlemen, we have the grid. We'll just wait for Night Shadow and Happy to make their way into the pit lane, and then we will confirm all of the details. So, Remax at the back, he had a qualifying ban, so unfortunately was not able to set a time. Otherwise, everyone else completed a lap time, and there's quite a spread of times across the grid, which implies people struggling with setups in the wet. But Sociopath takes your pole position for Tier 2 in Imola with a 128.5 in the very, very damp conditions. Lorpy will be thrilled to take P2 alongside him in the front row. Great result for Lorpe.
Yep.
Single track, P3, Martin again. He's in good reign of form. And he'll be happy with that. Martin is joined alongside him by the man who's sporting an Ayrton Senna tribute helmet, his hero. That is Ryan of Redcar, the Redcar Rambo. We'll go through the rest of the results shortly. The screen will just refresh. So as we just said about the top four there, Ryan's even sporting the Brazilian nationality for the day. Genie on his birthday, P5. That's a reasonable place to position himself at the start. And Error Voice, who looks like one of the candidates for the title race in P6. Alex Jarek, ever quick, as we know, P7. And Wazza, P8. Fanning, P9. And Bits rounds up the top 10. He'll be happy with the top 10. Dumbest Hornet, P11. And Night Shadow, P12. Playing second fiddle in the Ferrari. Gav, come on. Jackster, P13. Captain Nibs, 14th on his return. Stu, P15. Heppy, P16. Gaki Matthews is 17th, but will start last following the penalty for the collision with Ziad. Connor, 18th. Ziad, 19th. And Wimax last. But, of course, this is just qualifying. And in the race, we can expect many, many variables to mix up the order. Anthony, who are you predicting to be your race winner today?
Race winner, I don't know, but I've got a few drivers I'd like to keep an eye on.
Yeah, let's hear it.
We have got Wazza, who qualified 8th. We know how strong a qualifier he is. Not so much in the race. He can sometimes have a mistake or two in the race, and that completely destroys whatever he had built. But I think he's been looking for a drier setup. But
and
the other
it's a lot drier
I'm really
now.
going to be looking at is Yadmar, because he's got blistering pace in quali, in race pace. Well, at least from what we've seen this season.
Yes.
So if he's so far down the order, I really think that he's running a very low drag setup.
Indeed. But we're here are the lights, and we are racing. And great start from Sociopath, and a great start from Single Track as well. He's already alongside Lorpe. Ryan is also just sat behind them, looking to slide alongside if he can in turn 1. And look at that, Sociopath with Martin alongside turn 1. They're still side by side. How have they made it through there without a collision? And
well done, guys.
My word, Gav must have heard my comments. Waz is out. Oh, we got a safety car. Unfortunately, he's dropped it at the exit Tamburello, and he's collided, looks like, with Error Voice. Error Voice has gone from P4?
P6, I think.
P6, yeah, down to 19th. Disaster for him. So, Sociopath holds on to the lead. Single Track up to P2. Lorpe drops to 3rd. Ryan of Red Car P4. Gingy holds P5th. Alex up to 6th. Fanning up to 7th. Let's get the position change on the screen, actually. Thomas Hornet P8. Gav heard what I said about him playing second fiddle and has jumped to P9, and Jack's to P10, also making some moves. Bits down 1 to P11, Stube up a few to P12. Connor, he's no longer the bottle job, he threw that title away a long time ago. He's up to P13, he's the biggest mover on that start with 4 positions gained. Happy, he's a couple of places up 2. Ziad is up to 3. Rumax up 3, Geke's up 3, and of course Nibs and Error Voice dropping down to the back has enabled a lot of these moves. So, Anne, talk me through the strategies. What are your strategy calls for the race?
Well, I'll get their tyres on, because I've completely forgotten what they...
Yeah, let's get them on.
Well, there's a pretty good mix of strategies here. I think the medium to soft, or soft to medium, should be able to work. But the hard tyres work well as well. So I think that if you've got a late safety car and Stube and Thomas Hornet manage to keep their tyres going up until then, they'll be in a very good position to switch to the softs and go to the end. But yeah, I think the medium to soft is the best strategy, as it is on many other tracks on this game. They can hang on in there, and yeah, I think it's a good racy strategy as well.
Definitely. We saw in the race on Friday, like as I'm sure you obviously can remember, the medium hard, hard soft, medium soft, and soft medium, all those variations were used, and many people made good use of all those options. It looks like the majority of people are on medium to start with, and I think that's the safe bet on most tracks on this game. It doesn't seem like the medium is the best tyre on this game, but it
No.
opens up so much more strategy options that you almost can't afford to not use it, even though the soft hard seems to be the comfier tyres. We have, of course, got hard runners in Aerovoice and Womax who have pitted under the safety car. We're going to see how long they can go. Stube, Dumbest Hornet both started on the hard tyre. And then we've got just 3 runners, Captain Nibs, Fanning and Red Car Rambo, who are all soft runners at this stage. Everyone else is on the medium tyre.
I think it's a good move from Rumax and Aerovoice to pit, because they were already at the back, so they've got nothing to lose. They're just
exactly.
making their strategy a little bit more flexible, I think, because they've already had the mediums, or soft. I think it was the mediums.
Yes, they are the mediums, I think, before. They can swap to another set of mediums or a set of softs, depending on if there's another safety car or how they feel on the pace later in the race. They can, as you said, it's a free hit. They were at the back anyway, so no harm done. Let's talk about this track. So, obviously, the track here is actually quite a lot of flowing in terms of the undulations and the hills and rising of the circuit. It's not a flat circuit by any means. And it's a very old school track. It's narrow, it's tight, it's bumpy, it's twisty. And
there's grass, gravel.
There's grass and gravel, you're right, there's tarmac, there's sky. But this track itself, as you can see from this helicopter shot overlooking the Tosa hairpin, you can see it's not a wide track. We'll get rid of the screen there. You can see just how narrow the track actually is. You can get 3 cars wide in a lot of the areas on this track, but not everywhere. And into a corner, if you're too wide, you find most corners, if you're offline, you kind of have to back out and follow through, or you will follow through.
And that's why a low downforce setup is so tempting, because it's hard to get side by side with anyone. So your safest bet to get past someone is on that DRS straight.
Indeed. And of course, that long DRS straight section is so long that even if you're running 1-1 wings like a certain Gavin Jenkins used to like running in Miami, or if you like running high downforce like Fanning does, doesn't matter what settings you have. If someone's got DRS behind you, if they're within 7 tenths of you, they're going to get you. Anyway, the safety car is coming in this lap, so we'll save the safety car chat. I've got plenty, don't you worry. Some of it involves pizza.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Some of it involves Giancarlo Fisichella, but not on a pizza. Thank God. Now then, into Ravazza 1 and 2 comes Sociopath, who is Italian, by the way. He's at his home Grand Prix. Let's not forget, the Italians at home, they love it here at Imola. And he's bolted already halfway between the 2 Ravazzas. He has not caught Martin out there. He's only 6 tenths behind him. So, the big slipstream effects you get down the straight here, he will reel him back in. Just on board the Alfa Romeo of Red Car Rambo, look at him all over the back of Lorpy. It looks like Lorpy's running less wing, with Ryan even the slipstream is not pulling him in. Just down the order. Sorry, go ahead, Ant.
I think he was caught sleeping a little bit, because we shouldn't be losing that much, even if we've got a low downforce setup.
Indeedy.
He's already a second away, so he's going to be very vulnerable when the DRS gets activated.
Indeed. Now, just looking through the order here, obviously we didn't see any real chaos in the restart. It all looked quite ordered and simple. The only notable thing is Stube's got a bit of a gap to Connor between P12 and P13. And we've just seen Wumax make a move on Gecko Matthews for P18. He's now on the back of Aerovoice. Wumax and Aerovoice, 2 drivers very much out of position. 2 of our front runners in the championship, these 2. 2 of the fastest guys in this tier, and they are right at the back. Let's see if these 2... The track is hard to overtake, but if they can make their way through, it could be a hell of a drive. Who are you watching, Ant?
I was looking through the drivers, but because there are some gaps being created at the moment, but Ryan is going past Lopey. Oh no, he's not.
Not quite. He wasn't quite close enough. Ooh, but Lopey's gone offline with Ryan. A lot of pressure being applied by the man from Redcar. Oh, we got some moves downfield as Connor looks to have made a mistake at Tamburello, and he's dropped down to P18, and that's allowed Aerovoice, Wumax, and Heppy to get through. Oh no, Heppy's now got a problem. Heppy's dropped to last. Oh dear. Meanwhile, his teammate is still on the back of Lorpy for P3. Singletrack's caught under the back of Sociopath. He's not letting him get away. These two are broken from the field a little bit.
And yeah, the guys at the back might have struggled to fire their tyres up.
Indeed. DRS will come live at the end of next lap. It's only the one DRS zone here, and obviously it's a huge one. But nevertheless, it is just the one zone. So the end of next lap, the main straight will, I say straight, the main section, start finish straight and sections around it, will be a very good place to make a move if you have the DRS available. Now then, is Ryan closer to Lorpy? He's gaining this time. He's not using the ERS though, so he doesn't look like he's going to wait for the DRS next lap. Here comes Alex on Genie. Ooh, Genie's just held off Alex there through Tamburello. And look at them, all over him. And Alex then made a mistake of getting too aggressive. And, excuse me, Alex has then lost position to Fanning because he got a bad run out of Tamburello towards Villeneuve. Now Fanning and Dumbest Hornets are fighting. Dumbest Hornets got past Fanning as well. That's really cost Alex big time. He was looking at a potential move for 5th and he's now down to 8th. Just down the order. This is extremely tight between the midfield. We've got Bits all over the back of Jackster. Night Shadow now all over the back of Alex, who's on the back. And Fanning making the move on Dumbest Hornet through the exit of Aquaminarale. We just saw that from a couple of cars back. Great opportunistic driving from Fanning. He had great drive out of that right-hander.
I've seen a few drivers running wide out of a few corners. Be careful, everyone. It's so easy to get some penalties around this track.
Yes, we've seen it in real world F1 where people do tend to gain a huge amount of time off track. And track limits in Formula 1 are becoming a bit more of a policed matter. They are also policing the MRC, of course. And Fanning has just got past Genie for P5, by the way, with DRS down the main straight. So there goes the comment as even if you're running high downforce, the DRS system down that main straight is still so powerful. Alex back up to P7, he's ahead of Dumbest Hornet 2. Next, Dumbest Hornet to watch out for is Gav. And, Jackster's round! Just caught him at Villeneuve. He's just had a moment coming out of the right-left chicane. Sorry, left-right chicane even. It's a huge shame for the Dutchman. He's down to P16. But of course, as we say, there is a long way to go. A lot can still happen. And who are you looking at right now?
I was looking
better not be Tinder.
Ziad Mad.
Ziad Mad?
Yeah, my dark horse, literally, actually.
Yeah, in the Black Arrows. Now,
yeah, the Black Arrows, yeah.
He's made some good moves. He's up to P11. He's on the back of the Bitsmeister, as I like to call him, the McBitty's Hobnob. Will Bits crumble under pressure, or will he stand tall against the pressure of the rising arrow?
I think he should be able to.
Indeed. Lorpy has been passed by Ryan by for P3. I've just seen it on the timing screen.
Oh, yeah.
This is a bit of a DRS train here as well. Genie's really fighting hard. He's got back past Fanning. Is Fanning going to make a move into Villeneuve? It'll be a hell of a brave move if he does. He doesn't this time. So P5 down to P11 is a DRS train going on. That is Genie, Fanning, Alex Jarek, Dumbest Hornet, Night Shadow, Bit, and Ziat. All very tight together. He is. Keep an eye on that. We'll watch Fanning on Genie. This is for P5, and this fight is now 5 seconds behind Lorpy and Red Car Rambo, who are another 3.7 behind Singletrack. So, as you said, the field is starting to spread. Night Shadow's ahead of Dumbest Hornet in this train that we're looking at here. So, and as you mentioned, Ziad on the back of Bit. Look how close the Mercedes is to the Ferrari. And I think he's going to get him into Ravazza. Look at the drive he's got out. No, Bit defends early and hangs on. There's a bit of contact, but it looks to be okay. Let's get back to Fanning in the Red Bull on the back of the Aston Martin. Lorpy's repassed Ryan for P3, but is this going to be Fanning making a move on Genie? No, he's let Alex go instead.
He's also got Fabian down in 14th, getting through.
So Fanning and Alex Jarek both got past Genie there. That was an interesting one. And Genie is now got to watch out for a wild Gav. The Night Shadow is coming. Now then, Ziad did get past Bit, as you said. Good spot. And Error Voice got past Captain Nibs. He's all over the back of Stoob. These guys are joining
so strongly.
He's
already attacking Simon.
You mean Chris? It's dumbest is Chris. Baby is Simon.
Oh yes, Bob. Yep.
It's okay. I know my Hornets. I know my Hornets. Just for reference, Chris brackets dumbest Hornet is a Manchester City fan, and Simon, the baby Hornet, is a Leeds United fan. So crucial to get them correct. For obvious reasons. We have a yellow flag, as unfortunately Captain Nibs has dropped it at the Variante Alta, the little tight chicane. It's a very, very difficult corner to get right at high speed. Now then, Sociopath has pulled out a 2 seconds lead for Sociopath over single track. He's starting to stretch his legs, or stretch his wheels, and Remax pits, but he's got 5 seconds for speed in the pit lane. Although he's now retired. Maybe he's got some damage. We'll see later. Bit of a weird one. Single track is 2.7 ahead of Lorpy. That gap's slowly coming down. Lorpy and Ryan are still having a bit of a personal fight. Just behind them, of course, just a few seconds behind them, well, 5.7 to be exact, is Alex, Fanning, and Genie, and Mr. Gav of the Night Shadow. And then it looks like he's left the session. That's a double DNF for Williams. That's a disaster for the boys from Grove.
And they're 2 of the quickest drivers in the tier as well. So
they are.
Plenty of points lost there.
Yeah, huge shame for both of them. Now then, Mr. Hodgson believes the softs will be going off very soon. You will be correct, Mr. Hodgson. But what is going off right now is Night Shadow on the inside of Genie into Ravatsa 1. Can he keep it clean? Oh! And it looks like Gav has just been clipped. The rear wheel of Genie clipped the front right of the Ferrari, and unfortunately Gav has lost out. The soft tyres, the soft tyres go anywhere between 10 and 14 laps depending on how nice you are to them. The mediums, however, they will be going through a graining phase around now. The medium tyre, you can get up to 20 laps out of them, but they really start to feel a bit on the bad side between laps 9 and 14. Before and after that, they feel just fine. The hard tyre, as you mentioned earlier, and well, they're not bad. Gav understeering there is something that has brought Mr. Hodgson some displeasure. He was not happy to see that. Captain Nibs pits, and we've got Mercedes of Stoob off at Tamburello. Side-by-side action between Ziadamar and Gav. Gav has not quite recovered his pace from that moment, and Ziad is now all over the back of the Ferrari. Talk us through the fight, Ant.
Sorry?
Talk us through this fight between Ziad and Gav.
Well, it's a bit hard to read because they're all in this DRS train, so none of them will have an advantage over the other one. It's all going to be about Chris, if he can defend. The moment he gets past, I think that will open up the move, but yeah, I think Ziad at least is going to struggle to make any moves, especially since he's got very little DRS as he's flashing like the lights in the capital of the Netherlands. So.
Indeed. And we have just seen Genie repass Fanning for what is P6. Alex Jarek seems to be running away from these two now. He just has a bit more pace, it would seem, at this stage. Alex is on the mediums, Fanning on the softs, and Genie also on the mediums. So a variation of tyres in this battle. You've also got Dennis Horner on the hards. And Error Voice has joined the fight too. He's on the hards too. Go ahead, sorry, Anne.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to say that Single Track's had a moment somewhere because he was 2 seconds behind Sociopath, 2 seconds ahead of Laupi, and he's now just a second behind, ahead of Laupi, sorry. So
indeed,
he's going to be vulnerable in. Could be this lap.
Indeed, good spot.
Oh, and he's already got 3 seconds.
Yeah, Nibs and Dumbers Hornet in the last lap have picked up 3 seconds for track limit violations. Easily done, but could be crucial if there's a late safety car.
Now then, Lorpe is right on the cusp of the DRS zone. Will he get the flap action on this lap? I think he's just missed out. No, he's got it. You were right. I am standing corrected. Interestingly, Ryan behind him did not get it, and this is going to allow Lorpe to pull away from Ryan a little bit. Now, Martin, because of the DRS, is going to have to get a bit defensive. By the way, Fanning has pitted, so Mark's call about the soft tyre going off. Fanning has pitted. He's going for a medium.
How much does a pit stop cost?
I think it's around 30 seconds. It's more than 25. It's one of the longest pit lanes in the world. It's so long.
Oh, Ryan's had a moment.
Oh, we got. Oh, Ziedemar's gone. Ziedemar's just gone at Villeneuve.
Oh no! Oh no!
He went rally driving. He took his Mercedes lawn mowing, and it didn't quite work for him there. But it's a good catch. And now you mentioned that Ryan had a moment. He's now, as you just said, he's dropped 5 seconds behind Lorpe. Lorpe, who's still on the cusp of DRS from Martin. Let's jump on board.
Yeah, the pit stop has got to cost around 30 seconds. So if single track pitch now, he'll be right behind Jackson. So it wouldn't be too bad a pit stop for him. Try and cover Laupi.
Yeah, he'd be just behind Jackson, just ahead of Connor, and ahead of Jackson is a huge gap. So actually, for the leaders, this works perfectly. Actually, happy for Laces to get a 3-second penalty, and Lorpe really fancies this one on Martin. He's got some pace, and now he's got the DRS and the slipstream. He's very competitive. Martin, I think, has a bit more grip and downforce in his setup, and that allows him to maintain and pull away slightly through the lap. But then Lorpe, the last few laps with the DRS, has really pulled him in. Ryan has pitted. It looks like he's had enough of his soft tyres, and he's got the mediums on. This is perfect timing, really. The mediums from here to the ends will be just fine. The last couple of laps he might be a bit twitchy, but that's nothing that a Rambo can't hold on to. Now, this lap, Martin in the middle sector has not quite pulled away. He's not had the influence on Lorpe that he has previously had. I think this means that Lorpe being a bit closer than he has before, Lorpe couldn't think about a move into turn 1 into Tamburello.
Yep, fast gap, that's very feasible.
Let's go on board. Martin's had great drive out of Ravazza though. That could be his saving grace. But here comes the DRS action of the Lorpster. Lorpe is closing. We have a yellow flag in the middle sector. Oh, yellow safety cars. Oh. Now, for those who just pitted, this is a disaster.
Ryan will be
so angry in that car right now.
Yeah. He'll be saying that this has been manipulated.
Yeah. Now, those who have not pitted yet or who are about to pit, the leaders have already gone past the safety car, so you've got a whole lap to decide if you want to pit or not. I would do that lap and then pit. Get your fresh tyres on and go to the end. If you want to put a soft tyre on here, you're bold, but you can do it, but you're going to have nothing left in the last 2 laps.
Yeah.
The medium tyre would be perfect. I would.
Really?
I would. Yes. Hey, I did it. I've done it before.
Not that many laps though.
No, but I think it's bonkers, but
yeah.
Oh no, I did it in Saudi Arabia. In Tier 1 in Saudi Arabia, I did it with half the race to go. You can do it, and Jackster, he's a man who likes a challenge. Jackster has whacked on a set of soft tyres with half the race to go. Now, that's a cool. There's a man with some cojones.
Yeah, I don't know what the Italian word is for that though. Meatball?
Yeah, let's go with a meatball marinara. There's a man with some big meatball marinara. Now then, Mark Hodgson said he'd go medium to hard, or hard to medium, I guess, with the alternative. Sociopath is on the hards. Dumbest Hornet elects not to pit and is going to be our race leader. Martin and Lorpe and Alex and Jarek all opt for the hard tyre as well. Gav listens to me. Gav likes the Bailey strategy, and he's gone for the softs. Ryan will be hoping to jump Gav when he gets to the pit exit, but I think that Gav will be just ahead. This can be so close. No, Ryan does get ahead. Will Gav be ahead of the Genie? Oh, I think Genie's going to have to let that one go. Yes, he does. So Gav slots in between Ryan and Genie. Sorry, Gav. So Ryan's not actually lost out really from that. The only person he's lost to is Alex Jarek. That's the only position he's lost. So as a safety car goes, that's not awful. He was, but Dumbest Hornet's not pitted. So, and of course,
yeah, true. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah, so in that respect, it's not the end of the world for the Rambo. No, he's lost one position. Yeah, one net position he's lost out of that, so it's not the end of the world. Gav, one of the bigger winners out of that, and he's now on the soft tyre. If he can make that last, and it's an ask, but if he can make it last, then we are looking at a potential podium at least for Gav.
He's one of those drivers who can make it work.
Yes. The only drivers who have not yet pitted in this race, Stube in P15 and Dumbest Hornet are race leader.
I'm surprised Stube hasn't pitted because, well, he's in P15.
Yeah.
He's got nothing to lose by pitting. He's going to be... Yeah.
Maybe the pace isn't his concern. Maybe he's just trying to see what he can learn from the tyres. Maybe that's his game. But anyway, now we've got maybe a couple of minutes to talk about the Italian culture of the world. We're not going to talk about the Italian F1 for the moment, just because we're going to give that safety car chat to the other tiers to do. We're going to talk about our favourite foods from Italy. Now, we're not talking about chicken Caesar salad. We're not talking about just a bit of pancetta on a bit of bruschetta. We're talking about the holy moly that is pizza, pasta, and garlic bread. Gav, not Gav, I was looking at Gav on the stream and then said his name. Anthony, what is your Italian dish of choice?
I don't know if it's Italian, but ossobuco? I think it's Italian. I'll have a quick look.
Non comprende. I'm a terrible cook, so I'm terrible at describing how to do it, but it's pork, okay, that you kind of marinate in a lovely tomato sauce and all, and it's very tender. And wait, let me have a look. It's a Lombard, so yeah, it's Italian. It's magnifico, and I'm not a big pasta aficionado, but I think that with tagliatelle, it's pretty nice. Tagliatelle, yes. Yeah. I'm more of a fusilli man myself.
No, I don't like them.
No? Wow.
They're the twisty ones, right?
Yes, they're the twisty, spirally ones, spirale. Yeah. Alternatively, you can have a bit of penne. Yeah, bit of ravioli.
Okay, yeah, with pesto.
Oh, I mean, pesto's not bad, but...
It's lovely.
Now, let's get controversial. Before the safety car comes in, which it is, pineapple on pizza, yay or nay?
I'd say yay because why not, but nay because there are so many other flavours that are nice. What about you?
I agree completely. There are better things to have on it, but I do like it. Now, Dumbest Hornet has got a bit of a gap here as Sociopath closes up to him, and he's still weaving away. Those tyres must be absolutely awful. And look, on the restart, he's not caught them napping at all. He's already had start going defensive on his line. I think Sociopath might be thinking about a move into turn one. No, not quite, actually.
Great.
Oh, Dumbest Hornet goes too defensive. Yeah, Dumbest Hornet too defensive too early, and that has compromised him. Here. Look at the run. He's got him already. What a move.
Now Sociopath is going to create a massive gap during this lap.
Yeah, that was a significant restart for him. And here comes Martin round the outside. We're looking, what a move from the back of the Haas. Martin will be very happy with that. And is Lorpy going to follow him through? Yes, Lorpy is going to follow him through.
Yeah, these three guys really need to get that move done because they were going to lose out.
Indeed. Next up is, of course, Alex Jarrett in the Haas. And then Ryan and Gav are also waiting in the wings. Look at that. That was three very important moves by the top three made there. And look how all the grid are trying to find anywhere to make a move. And Alex up the inside. What a move. He has gone off track. Yeah, but so has Dumbest Hornet. Thomas Horner also went off track, so it's fair game in my opinion. Gav and Ryan are now side by side into Ravazza 1. Gav is on the outside, Ryan's on the inside. Ryan does hang on. Those soft tyres that Gav's got on the Ferrari are going to be fast. He needs to try and preserve them while he can. Now then, back to the front. Doesn't look like anyone's going to make a move on this lap here, except for Gav. Here comes the Ferrari. No, Ryan brakes.
Got to make the move.
Yeah,
He's got the soft tyres.
Yeah, Ryan braked very late, but just perfectly timed for the corner. But Gav on the exit of Tamburello, he's got the run, and Ryan backed out of that one, I think. I saw the speed difference. I think Ryan backed out. I don't think he fancied a car crash.
Very sensible. You don't want to have a crash with the Scotsman.
No, no one wants to collide with him and his thing. Now, interesting, look at this. Thomas Horner has lost a lot of time on the hill here. And is that... Oh, it's a good collision! And we've got the LP round! Error Voice is round! And this... Oh, wow! Zienamar has collided with him. Error Voice has... Oh, wow, and Fanning's been hit too. Looks like Fanning's lost his wing. Oh, wow, that was...
Is this a... It is a... Yep.
It's a safety car, yeah. Now, not to say too much there, but it did look a bit bold to make a move up the inside of Piratella.
Yeah.
And 2 into 1, do not go there. Oh.
Chris has got to pit now.
Yeah, anyone who's got wing damage needs to pit, and anyone who didn't pit on that safety car before will have to pit.
Yeah. In 2 laps he lost 6 positions.
Now, Thomas Hornet was side by side with the Error Voice. I think we may see that in the stewards' reports later this evening. All will be revealed later, of course, post-race. We have 13 more laps to go. Let's talk item number 3 on the list of Bailey's
Other than
belting conversations. Giancarlo Fisichella, probably the most successful driver from Italy in the last, 20-25 years. Closely followed by Jarno Trulli. Very closely followed by Jarno Trulli. Very closely. Giancarlo Fisichella drove, as is the dream for all Italians, drove for the Scuderia. He drove for Ferrari. He was most famous for stunts at Renault alongside Fernando Alonso and Jenson Button between 2001 and 2006, leaving the team. 2007, yes, when he teamed with Kovalainen. He left the team at the end of that season to be replaced, ironically, by Fernando Alonso, his teammate from the Prix stint. He won many a race during that period, especially the period between 2005 and 6, which Alonso won the title and the team won the Constructors' title as well. It was a very strong period where the Renault's mass damper at the front of the car was very beneficial to the car's performance. Fernando Alonso in particular made good use of that, but Giancarlo did too. Jarno Trulli is another successful driver from the Italian region. He also known for his time at Renault till 2004. In fact, was a very good driver. He then went on to Toyota, partnering with Ralf Schumacher, and then went on later in his career to then drive in sports cars. So did Fisichella, funnily enough. Other than those two, the Italians haven't produced too many drivers. We've had Antonio Liuzzi, who the less said the better, really. He wasn't a bad driver, but
he was okay.
He was okay, yeah, that was it. He was one of the other drivers from the Red Bull system that never really made much of a name for himself, but did okay. Represented Force India, Toro Rosso, but there's not much more we can really say about the man. And then, of course, Luca Badoa, the Ferrari reserve, who did awfully in his first stint in Formula 1, reserved for the Ferrari team for so many years, and then when, of course, Felipe Massa had his tragic accident at Hungary in 2009, stepped in to also, as Fisichella did later that season when he replaced Badoa, support himself in the red of Ferrari. And, of course, that will be his life made. He will die a happy man. Those three, those four, the only recent Italian drivers in Formula 1 that have really got any merit to their name.
Well, there is Alex Zanardi.
Now, Alex Zanardi...
Was he good?
Yes, but unfortunately, he was more of an IndyCar success than a Formula 1 success.
Okay.
He did have a stint with Williams and with Minardi, I believe. Definitely with Williams, though. But then he went off to IndyCar, but unfortunately he had a significant accident. And obviously it's very sad what happened to Alex Zanardi. So, yeah, I don't want to talk out of him. I don't want to bring him into MRC small talk because I've got a bit too much respect for him, frankly. In terms of tracks, though, in recent years, Imola and Monza, obviously iconic, doesn't even come close. They're borderline perfection in terms of an actual track. Like you said earlier, this is a time trial, a one-lap qualifying track. It's fantastic, and Monza's just, well, heroic for being Monza, for being the track of speed, the temple of speed, I should say. And well, we can say the team shout for the next safety car. I'm sure we'll have one. But here we go, Sociopath at his home track once again. When will he go?
This time, there won't be any safety car.
I think we'll have one more.
A very good mix of tyres right now. Hards at the front, softs at the back.
That means chaos. That means chaos. And here we go. Sociopath is on the march. He's only a quarter of a second ahead of single track. Is Martin going to make a move? He's so close, but no, not this time.
Gav is through.
Gav is through to P4. What a move. Opportunistic as ever. Now then, Jax is up to P8. He's the second of the drivers on the soft tyre. He's someone to keep an eye on. That extra safety car would have really helped both him and Gav to preserve the compound they're on. And that really could bring him into play. Look at the drive he's got off of the hairpin out of Tosa. This is bold if he goes into Piratella, but he has backed out of it. Gene holds on to position for now. And I have to say, down the hill into Raccamonarale, that's a beautiful and exciting section to watch cars fly through. We've got an Aston Martin round. It's Geke. He's had a moment.
The drivers
virtual safety car.
Have to,
yeah, unfortunately.
I was going to say that they've got to try and be patient. Oh, and there's Chris ran into Jackson. Has he got any damage? I don't think so.
No, his wing looks okay.
Yeah.
We've got a little bit of bouncing from some cars, by the way. I don't know if you're seeing it, but I'm seeing the McLarens are jumping. Awfully jumping,
yeah, that
actually.
might have been what I saw then, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at Thomas Hornet right now, and he's awful.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but the sound is a bit glitchy. I'm a bit worried.
If you pause it and then unpause it, it gets better. Slightly.
Yeah, I think it's... Yeah, thanks.
Now then, yes. The speed these guys are going at implies the safety car period is ending. I think this might be about to end based on the fact they're all ramping up, and... No, it hasn't ended, it's flashing, and we've got a move. Oh, what's going on?
I think it's a new one. Because the graphic went out.
Dumbest Hornets just dropped to the back of the field. I think he may have had a moment at Villeneuve.
That might be why then.
Yeah, well, he is a little bit on the glitchy side. You can see on the map, there's just the little orange circle keeps jumping left, right, centre. So, Hodgie says sound is okay. Wonderful. That's the MRC equivalent to Hamilton saying tyres are okay. I'm going for another lap, Bono. Now then, we've no virtual safety car, but we have got yellow flags in sectors 1 and 3.
Yeah.
Which means no one can actually, and in sector 2 technically, so no one can make a pass because it's a yellow flag. Gav has just picked up, excuse me, another 3-second penalty for track limit violation. DRS is now enabled, but we've still got a full circuit yellow, an FCY. I love an abbreviation. Now, we may have a glitch yellow flag. Bergen and Mark Hodgson are both reporting similar. Bergen is an engineer for certain drivers, I know, so that is reliable information that's come from him. Let's see if it clears. Captain Nibs got a 3-second penalty for track limit violation. Damas Hornet has come into the pits. Could he be the source of this yellow flag? Maybe. No, he doesn't look like he's retiring. He's just put a soft on. So we'll stick with the leading duo of single track and sociopath for the time being, only because no one can overtake, so we might as well stay with the leader. Yep, and apparently Ziad has just overtaken Error Voice, but had to give position back because of the yellow flag. So we may have a glitch here. Yeah, he was already retired though. We might have a glitch. So, oh no, yellow flags are gone. We are good. We are racing.
Thank goodness for that. And the sound is weird again.
Yeah, we'll have to pass on that now then. Martin, no time wasted here. Here he comes, DRS wide open. Is he going to throw one up the inside? He does, but can he get the movement of braking? No, Sociopath goes deep into the corner. He holds on and gets great drive out the Tamburello corner. Fanning has retired.
Oh,
that's a safety car.
Right.
I told you there'd be another one. Fanning has got a weird place there on the pit exit. That sounds like a collision with somebody. I'm not saying names because I didn't see anything, but to go there, you've either got to have thrown the car into the wall deliberately, had a collision with somebody, or caught the curb and got sent flying, and either way, it's not a normal thing to happen. So I'm sure we'll hear more about that. Someone will enlighten us, I'm sure.
It is extremely weird because it was on the track and got hit by the safety car, I think. No.
Well, the safety car came out after he crashed, so it can't be the safety car. Although that would be incredible. That's a 15-15 to help to Bert Mylander.
Yeah, no, you're right. He retired it for you.
So here's the thing: if you're one of the guys on the hards at the front of the grid, do you gamble on a set of softs right now? Except that you're going to drop down out of the points, but know that you've got tyres to fight back, or do you stay out, hold track position? And Gav, who's on the softs, is actually pitting.
What?
Gav's pitting? No one else is pitting so far.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lie. We've got Captain Nibs is in. And Bits
will be very happy about that.
In the other Ferrari is in as well. So double stop for Ferrari. We've also got Connor coming in as well. Don't be surprised to see Dumbest Hornet and Gecko slide into the pit lane as well. So, interestingly, that means that from 7th place downwards we'll all be on softs. And with the exception of Ryan and P5 on the mediums, the rest of the top 6 are all on old hards. I fear Stube is in a very good position right now. P8 on 6-lap old softs.
Wow, yeah.
And Gav, for all of that, has gone from P4 to P11. He's going to have the joint newest tyres of anyone on track. Will he make the moves to get back in the pack?
This is the first lap under the safety car, right? Well, behind.
Correct, yeah. We're going to have at least one more.
So that means that it will go in on lap 27 at the earliest.
Maybe 28.
Yeah. Maybe 28. So let's be optimistic and say 27.
Yeah.
That leaves 5
6 races. 6. Including lap 27, it'll be 6 laps.
No, because it will be going in on lap 27.
Get your fingers out, Ant. 7, 8, 9, 10.
minus 27.
Yeah, 6. 7, 8, 9, 30,
we'll
1,
see
2.
later on, okay?
That's 6 laps. Get your hands out and count them. 27,
at the end
28,
of lap 27,
29,
you can't pass.
30. Yeah, but if you... No, but...
28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Anyway.
My
point is, let's say 6 laps. Let's say 6 laps.
Let's 5 or 6 laps, yeah.
Let's say 6. He's got to pass 7 cars to break even in 6 laps around Imola.
It's a hard place to pass. If you're gonna hold on to something, this is the place to do it. I will apologise to the nation. I was wrong. I can't count. Look, I've had a long day. I'm encountering my 5th safety car period of the day. I've got more chat for you. I've got plenty more chat.
No, Gav is going to find it very hard. Had the other drivers, maybe had, I'd say 4 laps. Yeah, 4 laps extra wear on their tyres. Maybe you could get through the field, but I think the differential isn't big enough to get through the corners as everybody did get past Prix at the start of this first safety car, I think.
Yes.
When he had 15 laps of hards. I think the difference is not that big, so he's going to struggle to get up to, I'd say, 7th position. I'd be very happy if I finish in 6th position if I were him.
Indeed. Hello to Mr. Jason Sargent, who's just popped up to say hello and sorry for being late. That's not good enough, Jason. You are not allowed to be late. You arrive on time or not at all. No, jokes aside, hello, Sargy Bargy. Have a lovely evening. Stay away from me on track, preferably behind me, as you usually are. But no, he makes a very good point. The late safety car here, obviously the softs are strong and it's clearly a tough place to overtake. Bergen says rude. Well, I know you are, Bergen. Thank you for pointing that out. The safety. So let's just say a quick hello to the Italians in MRC. So we've got Frankie 5, we've got Ugioni, the ever great reigning double-time Tier 1 world champion. We have got Sociopath. We have got Panizza in Tier 3. Have we got any more Italians? Please tell me I'm not forgetting somebody. I'll be awfully sad if I am.
I don't think we're missing anyone. I mean, the Italians isn't the biggest community we've got in MRC. They've not taken over the duchies.
No, the Dutch, the South Africans, the Brits, and the French lately.
Yeah, I've been recruiting a few.
Yeah, we've seen what you've been up to, Mr. Ant.
La Révolution.
Mr. Hodgson says that Mr. Sarge is allowed to be late as a triple world champion. Well, from one triple champ to another, I feel like that's a bit of a coalition going on there.
Yeah,
and I don't like it. But what I also don't like here is we've now got another lap under the safety car because Geke was a little bit further behind. Now, because of this, the implication and the problem of this is that because we got one less lap in the safety car, we will only get one lap of DRS. And the guys at the front are going to have one less lap to defend because, well, the laps are ticking down. Hello again to Mordy, you're back. I hope you heard our little message for you earlier. If not, watch it back, my friend. I hope you're well, my friend. Now, of the 16 drivers that are left, nearly all of them are on the softs. That seems the tire to be on right now. The top 6 are going to have some real hard work.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be hard work, but Sociopath and Single Track especially, they're going to be having, protection from the guys behind. And the first soft tyre driver is Jackster with 13 lap-old tyres. So, his tyres aren't going to be feeling that good, even though there have been 5 or 6 laps of safety car in them. They'll still a lot of laps. Yeah, they won't feel that raceable. Not Gab level raceable. So he's going to be another
dark horse.
No, not dark horse. Block.
Yes.
For the guys behind. So it's going to depend on who can get their tyres fired up and avoid the spin.
Indeed. Now we are racing again. Sociopath again doesn't get the run on Single Track. He's all over the back of him. Here we go. Bob Martin is on the inside into Tamarello. Now this could be tasty. Who's going to break latest? It's Sociopath who breaks latest. Dumbers hold up the tyres in the pits, and Martin. He's in the pits. No, we're fine.
Okay.
Now Martin has Sociopath had a moment out of Tamarello. Lorpy's P2. Single Track leads. Sociopath P3. His teammate Alex is in P4. It's worth noting, as requested by Mr. Hodgson, that the penalties are on the screen. 5 seconds for Lorpy in P2 for ignoring yellow flag. I think that might get removed later. Stube's got 3 seconds. Zedamar's got 3. 6 for Night Shadow and Connor, and 6 for Captain Nibs. There you go, Mr. Hodge. Just for you. Let's get the tyre choice. Actually, let's get as little data on the screen as Ryan's retired.
Yeah, I think. And I don't think the safety car will be coming out. I think it's maybe. Oh no, there is another lap.
There's just a double wave yellow around the whole circuit. Ryan, unfortunately, is out. Oh dear. Now, he was having a very strong race and was in a good position. Unfortunately, he is out of the session. Single Track leads from Lorpy, who has got that penalty, but that may well get removed later. We will wait and see. Just behind them, the Haas boys, followed by Gingini and Jackster. Jackster looks racy.
The top 5 have got hard tyres. Jackster's got those 15 lap old softs. And all the guys at the back are soft tyres, so no moves just yet.
Yes, now...
Apart from Gav, who's made up 2 positions, and Ziad has done out.
He has, unfortunately. Just dropping down the order. Now, Lorpy looks like he's losing a bit of grip in that middle sector, I did say earlier. Oh, disqualified from the session, unfortunately, for Ziad. Lorpy, as I said earlier, looks like he's running a little bit lower drag than single track. We saw this when they were fighting earlier on. He's sliding all over the place through Aqua Minerale and through Piratella. Will he find that time back in the final sector as the Haas boys are getting all over each other? It looks like Sociopath is letting Alex go. Now let's stick with the front two as we are about to start the penultimate lap of the race. We are going to see a hell of a fight between Lorpy and Single Track. Two of the elder statesmen of Tier 2, they've both been here for quite a while in terms of in Tier 2 for most of their time in MRC. Gav showing the new tyres are working, popping in the fastest lap, currently in P9. His teammate Bit is in P10 just behind him. Captain Nibs with the pace now with a 118.1. Wow. So yeah, those new softs firing up nicely. Just behind them, the House Boys, we saw swapping positions. Gene Genie in P6. We are hearing a bit of a sound issue here. I don't know if you've got you. Oh, we've got everyone moves around! And there's Gav!
Oh no!
And Carl, the Bitty Hobnob, has inherited P8 from all of that.
You don't want to see that.
I don't know about you, man, but are you hearing some really questionable sound?
Well, yeah, I'm just disappointed for them.
I'm hoping the drivers aren't hearing this too. I hope for them the sound's okay, because this is really not nice. Not nice to hear at all.
I'm sorry.
Why are you sorry? Stube, the latest man to get a 3-second penalty. Now then, into the final corners, and we've got a 4-car showdown for the win. Single Track is the leader as we start the final lap of the race. Mandy says sound is awful. Drivers have got driver's sound is fine, so that is good. Thank you, Bergen and Mandy, for the inputs there. Very important. But here we go, Lorpy and Single Track side by side in turn 1. Lorpy around the outside, brakes later, and there's a collision.
Why did Martin's fight for that one?
I think Martin should have backed out of that, if I'm really honest.
He should have.
Oh, I think that was brave. Lorpy would have been offline out the corner, and Lorpy takes the lead of the race. Sociopath promoted back into P2, Alex P3, Genie 4th, Jax the 5th, 6th for Stube. What a comeback drive from Stube. P7 for Bit, and Martin after that is P8, all over the back of Bit. Nibs is now retired, which means we have just 12 runners left on the track.
So this means that Sociopath provisionally would still be winning this race.
Indeed, something's happened, by the way. So Sociopath has dropped off the back of Lorpy, quite significantly actually, and that's allowed him to run away. Alex and Genie are quite close to the back of the other half. Sociopath, oh no, so
Alex
close!
Is trying to get through. Oh no.
Alex with a huge drift there, and that concludes their fight. Now then, Lawrence Fortes. He's going to round Ravazza 2. He will lose the win, technically, but I'm sure he'll appeal that 5 seconds. But Lorpy crosses the line to take the win. Sociopath and Alex cross the line behind him, followed by Genie. Next across the line is Jackster, very closely followed by Stube, who drops behind Martin after his penalty. Bits has got a 5-second penalty. Again, we'll see what happened with that one, as he and Martin were right on each other as across the line. All these results here, they do seem a little bit muddled up through the penalties at the end there, so all these results will be confirmed in due course, but Gav's crossed the line with no front wing, but still managed to finish in the top 10. Nevertheless,
the most Gav thing ever.
It is Geke across the line P11, and excuse me, the last of the runners. By no means at all a bad thing. Connor reaches the flag, unlike 8 of our drivers tonight, and he takes P12. So, again, the winner will be confirmed post-stewarding, of course, but our provisional results are on the screen, well, will be shortly. Geke, interestingly, gets driver of the day, which for P11, from P20 on the grid. Only 12 finishes, a little bit disappointing, you have to say, but that also does show just how hard it is to race, fight, and battle here in Imola. And of course, Sociopath takes the winning step on the podium. We will see in post-stewarding what happens, but nevertheless, the Haas duo will surely be on for a good haul of points. Who is your driver of the day today, Ant?
Prior to the final lap, I would have said Single Track, because he managed his race pretty well. He got to the lead, and everything was going well, and I don't know why he went for that very strong defense on Laupi, because Laupi had that penalty, so I don't know. But elsewhere, I would say Jackster. He managed to make those very old, hard, soft tyres work at the end. I thought he might have been dropping back because guys at the back had much fresher tyres. So I would say that he did really well on that final stretch, and strategically did okay. So first of the soft finishers, I would say Jackster's my driver of the day.
I would agree with that, but I will also give a shout out to Stu, P15 to P7. The first stint looked to be nowhere and has got himself a good haul of points. So Jackster and Stu can share the driver of the day plaudits. Fastest lap, Captain Nibs. He didn't finish in the end, but 118.1 is the fastest lap of the day. And yeah, that is the order at the end of that session. Congratulations to all who finished, and of course, the results will be out in due course, post-stewarding results and investigations. And, well, we have Tier 1 action following shortly. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and, well, ring the bell. Get freaky and know when we're coming online, because we'd love to have you join us more often. But thank you for those who joined us. Thank you to everyone who's driven tonight. We have Tier 1 action in just 28 minutes. So don't get too comfy. Get comfy, don't get too far away even. And come and join us for some more action around the Autodromo de Enzo and Dino Ferrari. Thank you to Ant for putting up with me for an hour, because, well, God knows why you do it.
Thanks for having me. That was eventful.
Oh, yes, it was. But we will see more events coming shortly. Have a lovely evening, and thank you, everyone. Good night.